I've said it before, and I'm sure I'll say it again. If you occupy your hands and you occupy your mind, you don't have as much time to worry. And worrying's not really good for us, especially right now. It seems like the whole world is worrying. I understand that 4 out of 5 Americans are out of work right now, and that's got a lot of people upset. It has people just not having any idea what's going to happen. None of us know what's going to happen. But we do pretty much know that we've got to come out of this. It's going to end, and the world's going to go back to normal, whatever normal happens to be. But until then, we have a lot of people who are at home, and I hear people saying they're locked up at home and they have nothing to do. Well, I understand that, but somehow I don't feel like I'm locked up at home. I feel like I get to stay at home right now. And I like to occupy my hands. I like to occupy my mind in any time, especially right now. I don't want to worry about the COVID-19 virus, and I take it seriously, but I don't want to be obsessed with worrying about it. So I'm trying to not watch as much on TV or on Facebook. So earlier today, I had a friend who just offered me kind of a pick-me-up and sent me a message on Facebook, and it made me feel good, and I thought I'd like to do something for him. So I came down here into my workshop and I started looking around for something I might do, something I might make for him. I have a friend named Jim. I went to school with him from grade school on up, and when he got out of school, he moved to Columbus. Well, he saw one day that I was working on stained glass. I put it on Facebook. Now, this time last year, I knew nothing about stained glass. Just somewhere along the line, early part of winter, I decided I wanted to learn. So I watched a few tutorials on Facebook. I went and bought some glass cutters, some lead supplies, some solder supplies, and some tape and different things. I started making my own stained glass, and it was kind of cool, kind of easy actually, which I find most things, if you just give it a shot, you can do it. Now, I'm not an expert. I'm probably never going to be an expert. I'm not going to put that much time and effort into becoming a master at stained glass. But I ain't half bad. So anyhow, I came downstairs. I wanted to do something. And my friend Jim, when he saw I was doing leaded glass, he wrote me. He lives in Columbus. He wrote me and he said, I live in German Village and I have some leaded glass that has been in a garden here for a number of years and it's in bad shape now and we're just going to change the garden. I don't need it. Would you be interested in it? And I jumped on the opportunity. My wife and I went out right away and we picked it up. Most of that leaded glass is going to end up going into my house in Mount Pleasant. It's going in a door and it's going to go in the greenhouse. But some of it was not salvageable. Now, it was made up of pieces like this. It was in a wonderful garden in German Village, and then it had leading all around it that held it all together. And you can see this being in a garden for the last 20, 30 years, a lot of moss grew on it. And so these were useless pieces, and most people probably would have thrown them away. I can't throw stuff away. I don't think I'm a hoarder, though my shop might look like I am. I just keep things that I think I might have use for. So anyhow, I came downstairs wanting to make something for my friend, and I found these pieces of glass. First thing I did was I cleaned them up. I scraped them all. I cleaned them with paper towel and Windex, and I scraped them with a razor blade. And then I took my handy dandy glass cutter, and I made 3 cuts on a piece of glass, piece just this size. Made 3 cuts that gave me 4 pieces of glass. I then took this copper tape, which I have. I got this on the internet, and I wrap this around the edges of the glass. You wrap it around, it's just tape, it sticks to it. And then you use flux. I use liquid flux from Odie, and you put it on, I put it on a brush so I don't use too much of it. And you brush your flux on that copper, because what you're going to do is you're going to use solder and a soldering iron, and you're going to solder the glass together. Wherever you had it cut, you join it together. You're going to solder it together to hold it. Now, this is not leaded glass. Leaded glass you actually use lead channel for. This is just an artistic form of joining glass, and it's very easy to do. And fortunately for me, I had a lot of solder. My dad was one of these people who believed he could do anything, much like I am. Imagine that. And my dad spent a lot of time doing all kind of tasks, all kind of work for people. And one of the things he did, he never seemed to do it around our house, but he did it for all these other people, was plumbing. So he had all these plumbing supplies. This is not what you're supposed to use for glass work, but this is what I have. It's free. So I have my glass taped, I have it joined together, I have my solder, my soldering iron, and I put my flux down. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some solder on my iron. I don't know how well you can see down here, but basically I just, that quick, that easy, I follow that joint. Now I have most of this already done, but I went around, I soldered the whole thing, and what I ended up with is a piece of glass that looks like this. I don't know how well you can see it. I don't know how it goes. It's an abstract piece. I don't know if it's a tree, if it's a map, if it's a funnel. I don't know. It's not stained glass. Didn't know what colors my friend would like. Didn't really have a design in mind. I just wanted to make him something. The whole idea was I wanted to occupy my time, I wanted to occupy my hands, and I wanted to occupy my mind. I didn't want to worry. And I wanted to be uplifting and supportive of a friend. So these things are all very important any time in life, but they're especially important right now. So go into your basement. If you don't have a basement, go into your sewing room. If you don't have a sewing room, go into your kitchen. It doesn't matter if you cook. It doesn't matter what you do. Just find some kind of craft that you can occupy your time with. If you're not into crafts, read a book. And if worse comes to worse, watch a movie. The idea is be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Just be kind. We're going to get through this. I can hardly wait to see you on the other side of this virus.